This is episode 378, recorded September 2nd, 2016. Packard Pokes At. Dogstars, Volcanic Elves, and Walkin the Dog. I want to thank C. Walker from the chat room for this week's show title.
What time is it? It's Packard Pokes At time. Hat? Check. Shirt? Check. Pants? Optional. Mug? Double check. Check us out at cafepress.com/PackardPokesAt where you can get all this great merchandise and more.
Do you like Packard Pokes At and want to hear it on demand and on the go? Download the free app today at Stitcher.com. Available on iOS, Android, Nook, and iPad.
This is Packard Pokes At, and I'm poking at your news.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another fine edition of Packard Pokes At. I am your immutable and unmutable host, Packard Sonic. And joining me tonight from the far West Coast, West Coast is Connie, Practical Magic 9. I've been having one of those days today.
It's already September. Maybe in September. Yes.
Yeah. And joining us from the ill that is Illinois is Tom, the atheist on.
That would be me.
Yeah. Last week's show, I said we were going to have our regular longer show. I didn't lie, but I was mistaken, actually. I forgot I have a shit ton of things to do. And then, life intervened even worse with a big elbow into my chest. I had two important events happen this week. I was in a car accident, got rear-ended. I'm fine. My daughter was with me, and she's fine, too. Turns out the guy didn't have insurance, so now I got to go play that game. And
he was driving with Jesus.
Yeah, apparently. And then I get a letter from my landlord saying my rent is going up. So, double whammy. Yay. So, this has been a week from hell. Oh, and then, of course, YouTube has gone off the rails. Thinking that he's like, hey, if you say a bad word, guess what? We're going to take your monies away. You might as well just put Roscoe Pico train on saying on that. So, all right.
I think the Mormons have bought Google.
Yeah. If you don't know who that is, it's from an old TV show called Dukes of Hazzard.
Of course, they can't know about Dukes of Hazzard because the Confederate flag's not allowed anymore, so it's not on any kind of platform.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They won't show that show anymore because of that shit. I thought it was a fun show. I mean, it was just like, you got to get away from the cops, and because they're corrupt, and the mayor's corrupt, and moonshining. Yeah, they used to be moonshiners in a dry county.
I could not remember the premise of the show. I just remember Daisy Dukes.
Yeah, everybody remembers Daisy Dukes because all you see is her tits and her ass. Not that I was complaining. We have had some very interesting things come from outer space, and no, it's not God returning because, there is no God. What we have been hearing is apparently there is a signal of some kind coming from outer space. Now, they are trying to figure out what this thing is because it's a little unusual. This one particular sector of space, which is about 100 light years from us, it's in the Hercules constellation, which I'm 195 light years away. 95, 100 light years. What's give or take 5 light years, between friends. Now, the unusual signal was detected back on May 15th, 2015, by a Russian Academy of Science Rattan 600 radio telescope. But it was kept secret because, why not? because if the aliens are going to come, let's get in touch with them first. No, I'm kidding.
They didn't want to freak anybody out.
Yeah, don't want to freak anybody out. We're getting radio signals from space. They're playing the Beatles. No, they're just some kind of weird signals. Now the problem is with this, they don't know what this is. They're saying that, well, if it's this Type 2, Type 3 civilization, apparently a Type 2 civilization is if it's sending out a signal like in all directions. It takes a lot of energy to send out a signal in all directions. But if they want to send like a targeted signal, it's like a point-to-point signal, that takes even more energy. My question on this is, and my problem with this is, we've been sending out random signals throughout space since we've been on air, since the 1950s, 1930s. All those signals, the and things like that, just going out into outer space. Kind of your thoughts?
I was trying to look at another article on this on Daily Galaxy, and a commenter made the comment, anyway, that no credible astronomer has claimed it's a strong candidate for alien intelligence.
Right.
There's a list of things that this could be, and scientists who are sensibly in favor say that it's lensing, the lensing theory, or it might be a new natural wonder, or it might be clickbait. And I find it interesting that they're vying for, more further study, which to me equates to more money.
Yeah.
Well, like most things, they don't know what it is, so all they can do is speculate. So they want to speculate it's something that will get them some notice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's not. I don't know.
The signal was brief, and it has not been repeated also.
Yeah, there's been instances where this has happened before, actually. There was... I'd have to pull it up, but there is back in the 1960s, I think, they had this thing it's called the Big Ear. And no, it's not Alfred E. Newman, sticking his head out of the window.
Why worry, right?
Why? What? Who? Me? Worry? What? No. The Big Ear was supposed to listen to the signals of outer space or whatever, and they thought they detected something, but it turns out to be, we just found out like a couple of years ago that this remarkable signal, because it was marked on the page, is like, wow, on the page. And they found out it was just something else completely. I think they figured it was a satellite that had been launched before the world had actually known about it, and the signal just happened to bounce out and down to this Big Ear or whatever it was that they detected it with at that time.
Yeah.
It's in the Hercules, the nebula, or Hercules something.
Yeah.
It's Pegasus hoof prints.
Yeah.
There's also only one other planet that we've detected so far, and so it's extremely unlikely that it came from that planet, unless this was like, a relay point from something else further out. But that's just my, little thing I'll throw out there, because there's a lot of galaxy out there. The chances are there's something else out there that's intelligent, and if they're intelligent, they probably would breeze right past our planet.
Yeah, I certainly would, knowing that we're on here. I certainly would.
Look at Trump. I mean, just like,
yeah, you got a Cheeto running for president of one big landmass
with tiny hands.
With tiny hands.
I think it's the premise for the next Star Trek movie.
Oh no.
The Cheeto equation.
All right, let's just speculate just for a second here. Let's just hope that if this is what they say it is, let's just speculate for a moment that it is a targeted signal from an intelligent civilization saying, "Hey, like in that movie Contact, to build a machine for us to contact them so we can talk to each other." There's thought from
Stephen Hawking.
Hawkins, thank you,
Hawking.
Hawkins. He said that any other intelligent civilization out there might, if they showed up on our doorstep, that
we would be the Indians and they would be the Pilgrims.
Exactly. Yeah, because they could wipe us right out if they wanted to. I mean, if they come that far, they could do it. We don't know if they would be benevolent or not, but let's just say for the fact is that maybe they are, maybe they aren't, and they are just like, oh, let's see what planet we can target now.
If aliens come to your door and offer you blankets, just say no.
Do I think that's
cookbook? It's a cookbook.
It's a cookbook. Do I think that's what this is? No, I have no idea what this is. I'm with everybody else. I'm speculating. Paul Marshall has provided us a link to the mysterious SETI signal, earthly cause. Yeah, see, there it is.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we'll try to get that into the show notes as well.
Probably an echo.
Yeah. So Dawkins says, given what the humanity's like, if they have any sense, they'll nuke us all from orbit.
For all they know, that could be the nuclear signal of some other civilization that destroyed itself, and that was the last call of it.
Yeah, that very well could be. Very well could be.
What if there's a really bad, crummy guy who's going to jail, but I know he's innocent?
Well, Bart, your Uncle Arthur used to have a saying, shoot 'em all and let God sort 'em out. Unfortunately, one day he put his theory into practice. It took 75 federal marshals to bring him down. Now let's never speak of him again.
There's this thing, it's called the Religious Freedom Act, or RFRA. And religious people have been riffing all over it. It's like they take this, it's like, oh, we can do things because of our religion, and then they shove it down their throats and like puke it all over every little thing they can. So it's like, I can justify this because of RFRA, blah. RFRA over here, blah. I don't want to pay my taxes because of RFRA, blah. You know, all kinds of bullshit that it does not even apply to. A mother in Indianapolis thought she could do the same thing because of RFRA. Turns out she is wrong. She took a plastic coat hanger and beat her son, who's 7 years old, almost to death with the damn thing. There are some very disturbing images.
Those welts are just horrific.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are.
She's not from this country. I mean, she came here as a refugee, and I don't know if she picked up the religion here or there, but what they are doing because of this is just bullshit. You don't get to beat your kid just because you think that the Bible says spare the rod and spoil the child, because it doesn't even say that. It says something along those lines, but it doesn't say that exactly. In fact, we covered this on the previous show. Connie, your thoughts?
Well, and if her biblical defense fails, she's going to claim that culturally it's different in Burma, where it's okay to hit your kid with switches. Mm-hmm. Let's just go back. Yeah, let's just go back to Michael Pearl, getting cut off a willow whip or some shit. And you know what? The fact is if hitting made things better, then war and police violence against people would make things better, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
This is such bullshit, and this is not a religious freedom. I'm sorry. There's a bunch of different ways this goes. Yeah. One being that the Indiana Supreme Court decided that cords and belts are okay to discipline your child.
Yeah.
And so they have some idiot judge who said, well, I don't know, a coat hanger is kind of like an electrical cord or a cord or a belt. What I really think is I hope, but every abuser claims that it won't happen again. And I guess this woman actually went through some kind of parenting class where she says, oh, I'm better now, Yeah. I understand that there's other ways to teach my kid. Yeah, well, I really hope that's true, but that every abuser is regretful the next morning. And as for the justice who says that hitting a kid with a belt or electrical cord is not any different than a coat hanger, I say, well, guess what? It's all wrong, and maybe we can test the judge's theory on his bareback ass.
Oh, sure. One of the other things there, because she thinks it's because of religious reasons, she says, I was worried for my son's salvation with God after he dies.
Yeah, David Silverman needs to make a billboard with this woman's face and pictures of her son and say, this is why we argue against religious freedom.
Yes, it is.
Period.
Yes.
Yeah, and she says, who attends the Southside Church, according to the court documents, I decided to punish my son to prevent him from hurting my daughter and to help him learn how to behave as God would want him to. So you are teaching him how to behave just like God would want you to punish everybody around you. severely for no fucking reason. Did you have any last thoughts on that, Tom?
Well, fortunately, culture has changed. I'm almost finished reading Stephen Pinker's book, The Better Angels of Our Nature, and he goes into this behavior at one time was perfectly normal. Everyone accepted that's what you did, and it's gotten to the point where now we're outraged at this behavior.
Yeah,
and we should be, but it's amazing me that people still find it reasonable to say this is religious freedom, that I should beat my son half to death.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
It is insanity. Dawkins' dog from the chat room says, you can't stop people from beating their children. That's religious persecution and intolerance. And previously he said, if you're going to use a coat hanger on a kid, you're supposed to do it before they're born.
Oh.
Poke, 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 poke.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not uncomfortable at all.
No, I accept that, because that kind of humor, because yes.
And Connie's over there crossing her legs really hard right now, going, no.
yes, actually, yes. I'm like, yes, it's okay to do it before they're born, but not after, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is 10 levels of fucking crazy. This is exactly the reason why we do this show, to show that people like this exist, and they are using their religion to practice hateful shit.
Contact us by email at ppappodcast@gmail.com or on Twitter as at Packard Pokes At. Like us on Facebook.com/Packard Pokes At. Call our Google Voice and leave a message at 662-709-PPAP or 662-709-7727, and we will respond to it on the show. Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time. Join us live at vaughnlive.tv/Packard Pokes At. During the show, you can share your thoughts with us by calling 857-216-3200 using PIN number 35368 or on uberconference.com/Packard Pokes At. For links to the stories, visit our show page at packardpokesat.wordpress.com. You can help support the show by purchasing merchandise from cafepress.com/Packard Pokes At or make a donation to the show at patreon.com/Packard Pokes At. If you can't afford any money, why not share the show with your friends and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker, and on YouTube. For everyone that shares and rates us, you kick ass.
The Atheists,
The Bible,
and No Wardrobe, the podcast.
Wait a minute. No wardrobe? You mean we're going to be naked while we do this?
Well, seeing how I'm an atheist and I'm reading the Bible, and since clothes are flammable...
Fire!
I thought it might be a good idea to take them all off first.
Naked or not, follow along as we read, analyze, and try to keep you from falling asleep as we go through this boring-ass book.
Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker. Who knows? We may even be on YouTube someday. And be sure to check out our secondary show, The Atheist, the Bible, and No Wardrobe. A new show dropped this morning, although the webpage didn't. The show dropped. The page said, what, George? Was I supposed to do something this morning? And so it didn't pop until I went over and loaded the page from my phone and said, oh, hey, by the way, this is a live thing you're supposed to be doing. It's like, oh, okay. So, yeah, now it went out now. WordPress is a piece of shit. What can I say? But there is some really interesting stuff in there, and we try to keep you from falling asleep while we read this pile of shit book. And it is a pile of shit from cover to fucking cover.
So these Pokemon creatures are like virtual cyber demons.
Yes, digital demons.
Digital demons. And inside the True News building was a virtual cyber demon. The enemy, Satan, is targeting churches with virtual digital cyber demons.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
The Christians are not the only ones that have a monopoly on religious items and invisible friends and imaginary things, demons and whatnot. Over in Iceland, they have the equivalency. Elves. They have a serious problem with elves. And not the kind that bring cookies. This is from the Friendly Atheist website here. Half the population there believes that elves are real, and they are there to protect the elfin heritage because they made a law back in 2012 to do so. Because they tried to put in a road back in 2013 or 2012, something like that, in this one particular area, and because equipment breaks, because that's a thing, they think, oh, it's supernatural. It must be the elves that don't want you there, so bad shit's going to happen. In fact, there was some stuff that they've said here. There's this lady there. She has, it says, one of the many oddly shaped rocks in the lava field houses is a very important elf church in a rock, which lies directly in the path of one of the roads, according to, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, Jonas, I'm going to try the name, Jonas Dyer. Both she and another...
Oh, come on, I sent you the translation. God damn it.
John Dyer, both she and another seer visited the field separately and came to their same conclusion about the spot. I mean, there are thousands or millions of lava rocks in this field, she said, but we both went to the same rock or cliff and talked about an elf church. Because we went to the same place, we talked about the same thing. Woo! She knows that there's an elf church there because she can see it, she says. And she can also sense its energy. A sensation many Icelanders are familiar with. If a road is completely necessary, the elves will generally move out of the way. But if it's deemed superfluous, a possibly at or very bad things might happen. Where have we heard this before? This elf church is connected by light energy. Yes, light is an energy. To other churches, other places. So if one of them is destroyed, it's not a good thing.
Seems if it was destroyed, there's plenty more where that came from.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah.
If there's one church, there's another one close by.
Yeah. Now, another lady, her name is Ellie. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name. It's got more letters than my zip code. Head of the town's council planning committee said that made sense to her. Let me back up here. It says this town on a port on the outskirts of Reykjavik prides itself on...
It affirms my faith.
It affirms my faith, right?
Yes.
Prides itself on its unusually high elf population. Tourists are invited to tour the known elf locations, including a large rock whose reputation is an elf habitat. Meant that a nearby road was diverted some years ago as to not disturb the unseen residents. Now, that's where the part she comes in. She said that it made sense to her because recently some elves borrowed her kitchen scissors, only to return them a week later to a place she had repeatedly searched. Like that's never happened before. My philosophy is, if you don't have to see everything you believe in, she says, because many of our greatest experiences happen with our eyes closed. Or closed eyes, whatever. Because I can't count the number of times I set something down and I swear I've looked there like 5 times and I come back to it. There it is. Must have been elves. Could have been Elvis too.
I thought it was tattoo.
It could have been tattoo. The plane. Connie, your thoughts?
Selfishly, I'm really glad that at least one of the other countries in the world have their crazy on display, and it's not just the USA's clown train. There's over 32 volcanic zones on the Icelandic island. And I would just suggest that perhaps part of the reason for the appearances, which I might call an hallucination.
I would definitely call it hallucination. Now, there's 130 active and extinct volcanoes.
Yes. I mean, it's like there's all these reasons that there could be movement or whatever. But like I said, if people are seeing things, or God, this is why religion really needs to die.
Yeah.
Belief in it's not a religion, but it is a belief in an unseen being. And actually, they don't actually talk about little people. These are actually
elves.
Elves are actually people in period dress, and they're sometimes more diminutive, and that's what people are seeing. And I think it's more of an elemental spirit, which I'm sorry, I'm giving more credence to other religious beliefs than I probably need to, but
more diminutive. Their church is a rock.
They must be.
Must be pretty small. Dawkins from the chat room says they break stuff. Do they have to take out elf insurance? That elf was caught. I caught that elf running my car up the side of the road.
Yes.
And
anyway.
the real Paul Marshall says the Danos are not daemons. And Dawkins says, why wasn't it a poltergeist? Good question. It could have been a poltergeist that did it. Why did they say, the scissors had disappeared? And why wasn't it a poltergeist? It could have been a poltergeist. Could have been my aunt that I don't have, that's been dead for 20 years, that I don't know about. It could have been her, too. It could have been me walking in my sleep, and I walked to Reykjavik, and I walked into your house, and I took your scissors.
I have to admit, though, it would be nice to have elves, so I had an excuse of why I could not find things that I just set down.
There you go. I like that. I could get behind that.
Actually, this kind of reminds me of the song. It was a parody song of a Beatles
Elf
song.
You?
No, of a Beatles song. And instead of the Beatles song is "All You Need Is Love." And the parody is like, all you need are elves, da 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 da. All you need are elves. You know, it was a Christmas song, so.
You know, in Hawaii, which again, I'm going back to the volcano thing. They have the superstition that if you take volcanic rock off of the island without being blessed, there's supposed to be bad things that happen to you. And
there's
just a plug for the Atheist Bible and No Wardrobe. You know, we're just realizing how heavily the Hebrew religion is influenced by what appears to be a volcanic deity.
Yes, that story there, that blessing the rocks before you take them home, that was actually created by the tourist companies out there. Because as the story goes, and I'll try to relay this as quickly as I possibly can, they got tired of the tourists picking up rocks from the lava fields and then leaving them in the buses and the trucks and the things like that. So, it's a lot of work to, get rid of those rocks and put them back.
Yes.
Just put them out back out in the fields or whatever. So they came up with this totally concocted, nothing to it. There's no basis to this. You're gonna have bad luck if you take it back. So they made up this story so that way they would keep them from going like, oh, well, you want to take some lava rock home? Well, you know what? If you don't have it blessed, and you got to give the priest some money. I'm sure there's kickbacks there too. But if you take lava rock back, you get an ass whooping from the lava rock people, god, wizard, goddess, volcano, whatever.
The
volcano gods, whatever. Just to say, hey, you took my rock. Like I can't produce more or anything, It's all total bullshit. It's all total bullshit. It was just a story they made up to keep you from taking shit and leaving it in the goddamn trucks and cars and things like that and buses and making them have to sweep it up.
Mythology is created.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Somebody's pissed off at somebody's bad behavior, so they create a story to make them stop.
Yeah. Exactly.
Preach it, Tom.
Tom, did you have any last thoughts on this?
Well, I always find it very difficult to take these people seriously. It's like, are they really crazy, or are they just using this to get attention?
Yeah.
Or is it so they have their island to themselves, Tom? Do you think? Do you wonder?
trying to freak people out, going, "Don't come here, they're elves, they're going to get you."
Yeah.
Or, "We're crazy here.
Yeah.
Don't come here."
Yeah, I personally, I think of it like this, as I just said, that there's so many different volcanoes that are active and so many that aren't, that, as you know, or you should know anyway, that volcanic gases can make you hallucinate.
Yeah.
So if you're out on the volcanic field, I guess, I don't know, where there might be fissures going into areas where there's gases escaping still, guess what? You're going to start seeing shit. I'm surprised they haven't seen pink elephants. Oh, it's the invisible pink elephants over here. Just as plausible.
There's no elephants in Iceland.
Exactly. There's no elves there either.
You don't know that. Oh wait, maybe you do.
Elves are the sea monkeys.
Yeah. I don't have any money, but I'm going to tell you something right now. I'll find a way to come up with at least a grand. If somebody can bring me the head of an elf, you bring me the head of one of those elves. Bring me the head of an elf.
That's not violent at all.
I didn't say they had to kill it. I just said they had to bring me a head. One that was probably already dead. Just bring me the head. I don't want you to kill anybody. Just bring me the head.
And while you're at it, Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Someone's going to bring me a rabbit's head and say, "See, look it. It's an elf head." Really? Let me get it tested for DNA and shit. Oh, no, you can't do that. No. Because I'm not going to accept the picture. I want something physical I can hold in my hand, and I'm going to go, okay, let's put this to the fucking test. Bring me a finger, a bone, something.
What, Tom?
What's that, Tom?
So tiny.
There's something.
Tiny hands.
They're tiny. They must be related. They're all related to Trump. They all got tiny hands.
Our presidential candidate. He's an odd cover. He's an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Dawkins said that Santa won't be happy. God damn, fuck that guy. Didn't bring me my bike when I was 7. Fuck him.
I'll take the coal in my stocking,
Damn right. Hey, I'd rather have coal right now, I tell you.
Exactly.
That shit keeps you warm, So.
I think elves are like the it's one of those things where you cannot see them if you're looking at them.
Dawkins here says, "You want a head, a finger, or a bone? You need to get laid." Damn right. Damn right. I could go for a little bit of... Never mind.
Somebody needs to get laid. Like out in Oregon, right?
Yeah. So he wants a head, not some head.
A head. Bring a head. Finger. I said bring a head. I didn't say I wanted head, not that I would reject it. And I didn't say I needed to get fingered, although I wouldn't mind doing that either, but that's a different story.
TMI. You want ants, that's how you get in. Oh, never mind. Phrasing, that's what I meant to say.
Phrasing, Packard, phrasing.
It's the Onion Radio News.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
You're about to get into your senior class, and you have to have your picture for the senior class photos. So what do? You go out and you sit out really nice, or you get into the swings and you go, look at me, I'm so free. And these things are like been done like 10,000 fucking times, and they are as boring as shit. So what are you going to do? Well, let's go down to the local river. That's never been done. Or the local lake and just kind of stand in there. Yeah, that'll be an interesting photo. Except for the fact is, well, there might be other people there. Not a problem. We'll just focus off of you. Except some of them might be naked. And get in the photo.
Is that person attractive?
I didn't think he was attractive, actually. This girl out in Oregon.
Oregon. Yes, Oregon.
I should say Oregon.
That's how we say it.
Right. She won the senior picture once and for all game. basically with the help of a wayward nude man who inadvertently popped into the frame while he was walking his dog because, and no, that's not a euphemism for him masturbating. He was literally walking a dog. I did get a chance to look at these pictures. You don't see anything hanging out. You don't see his junk all over the place.
It is rather blurry, so
it
might be a leaf.
Yeah, it might be a leaf. It might be.
He's inverted. Oh my God!
Yeah,
there's nothing to see because there's nothing there.
Right? Maybe it's Donald Trump. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying. I'm just asking questions.
Not that I want to see.
Not that I want to see Donald Trump naked. Been a lot of that going on around in the nation. You know, all these statuettes popping up with a little tiny penis and Donald Trump's big fat ass and fat belly.
It's a very blurry picture. It could be a woman.
Yeah.
With a hairy chest.
Very hairy chest.
And facial hair, but again,
and
not
bald.
the judge.
And
bald.
bald.
Menopause hits women differently sometimes.
Right. Apparently she was like, his dog's running around and was like, oh my God, he's naked. And apparently I went to her Twitter account and she has been getting requests after request after request by multiple news organizations to, hey, let's interview you because you saw a naked man and you posted it online like, oh my gosh, oh, wow, that's never a thing because nudity never existed before this. You saw a naked guy while you were having a picture taken. Whee! And that's the only reason why we're talking about it. Kind of your thoughts.
That dog is not naked.
No,
I'm disappointed.
That dog had a fur coat on. I think he's one of those anti-animal rights activists.
And that man has a very short leash on that dog.
Yes, and we're not talking about his hand on his dick either.
And that's all I have to say about that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that in Forrest Gump. That's all I got to say about that.
I gotta say about that. Tom, your thoughts?
Well, I just appreciate the man is very comfortable with his nudity. He just can be out there,
in
the open air. Doesn't give a damn.
Yeah. Hey, I have a penis. Got a problem with that? As long as you keep it over there. Now, I gotta say, in these two pictures, she's looking over and she sees him for the first time, and she's got this pose going on. And then as soon as she realizes, oh my God, it's a naked guy, she gets really close up, she tightens up her body, and she squeezes her legs together like, oh my God, that guy's way over there, but his penis is going to shoot all the way over here, and he's going to molest me.
She has nothing to worry about.
She's nothing to worry about.
I thought she was just laughing at him.
Yeah. Well, she was laughing at him, but she's like, she got really scrunched up in a ball like, oh my God, if I don't protect my private parts, he's going to come over here and have his way with me.
She has more to worry about the dog humping her leg.
Yes, she does.
She does this guy. Oh my God, this is what an awkward picture.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not stalking.
Dawkins said, so it appeared in the rear book.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know.
Goodness. Oregon or Oregon? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
Argon. It's Argon.
It's Oregon. It's Oregon. And he was showing his organ. That's how you pronounce that. It's Oregon.
Living free in Oregon.
He was freeballing it, that's for sure. Anyway, as I said at the beginning of the show, we have to kind of make this a short show. So we'll be back next week with our other regular short show with our regular topics. So until then, this has been Packard Pokes At. We just poked at your news.
And that's a wrap.